Hi guys, in this lesson I want to continue talking about how to play walking bass and chords at the same time by demonstrating how I do that on a rhythm change A part. So this is the second lesson I made on playing chords and walking bass at the same time. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna play a rhythm change A part and explain how I made that bass line and talk a little bit about the note choices and coming from one chord to the next and how I think about that. If you didn't already check out my first lesson on this, you might as well do so, because it's going to give you more insight into how you might practice getting the independence going, so you have the two layers with the chords and the bass line. Because I'm not really going to be working too much with that right now. It's mostly about how to make a nice bass line. Let's do the first examples. So what I'm doing here, the first turnaround, the bass line is fairly simple because I'm starting on the B flat. I need to go up to the G, so I use the fifth of the B flat to go up there, via the fifth of that chord down to the C, and again fifth. And from the F7, also via the fifth, I actually go up to a D minor. From the D minor I need to go to G, so for that I use an A flat, which is a chromatic leading note. Again using the fifth on the G7 to go to C minor. And again the fifth. From the F7 I need to move from F minor, from F7 to F minor, and the smoothest way to do that, because it doesn't sound too nice to really have a leading note on that, is again to use another chord note, and the fifth is better because the third is going to sound a bit weird, and it's going to mask the fact that we're changing to a minor chord. So I'm again using the fifth, and then down to the B flat 7, via the third of that, up to E flat major 7. I'm staying on that note because the point of this part of the progression is that it's moving up chromatically. So I repeat the notes, and then I'm resolving that to B flat major 7 with F in the bass, which is, in this case, that's actually just a D minor triad with F in the bass. Moving chromatically up to the root of G7, via the fifth of that, down to the C minor, leading note, to the F7, and then I'm going now to pick the third of the F7 to move up to the B flat for the next chorus, for the next A part. So that's a very simple, very basic bass line. As you can see, most of the time you can get away with using the fifth or the flatted fifth to move from one chord to the other in a turnaround, and it's still going to sound fairly logical, and it's also quite playable. So the second example sounds like this. So what am I doing here? Again, the bass line for the first turnaround. So I need to move from the B flat to the G7. In this case, I'm moving it down with a leading note for the root. So I'm moving B flat, A flat down to G, via the 3rd of G I'm going up to C minor, and via the 5th of that one I'm going down to the F, and then through the 3rd of I'm using this 3rd of F7 as a leading note to the B flat, and I'm playing the 3rd of that one, which works kind of. It's almost like you have sort of a dominant resolving in this kind of bass line. So it's almost like you're playing B flat, D7 to G, and I find that a really nice sounding bass line. It's quite melodic. Also because you get, it's a nice way to get a big interval when you go to the new chord, and it somehow still works with both chords because it's a chord note in both of them. So if I can find stuff like that, then I'll use that quite a lot. So we're on that, and then I'm moving up to C minor, which is just using the 3rd of C minor to go to F, and again, as I explained in the other example, I'm using the 5th of the F7 before I move to the F minor. Similar, just the 5th to the B flat 7, and then via the 3rd of B flat up to the E flat major 7, E diminished, and then I have again repeating notes on those. B flat with F in the bass, and then I'm using the 5th of F7 to move up here to the F7, and then again via the 5th going to B flat using the triad, and then I have this E flat as a leading note down to the D7 in the bridge. So that's a bass line with a few more options. I guess when I play, I try to mix this up a bit, and yeah, I think when I work with this, I mean, I have some solutions that I use all the time. Probably pretty much these solutions that are used here. And for the rest, if I have time to prepare a piece, I'll just sort of find some bass lines, go through it slowly, and compose some stuff, check out if I can play it, and then try and see if you can use that. It's always good to go through a lot of pieces. There are really a lot of jazz standards that has this turnaround structure, and also this kind of way of going to the 4th degree and via the diminished and back. And they're also often in a medium tempo, which makes them really nice to play for this kind of stuff. Because playing really fast on guitar with chords and walking bass, that's difficult, and also not that useful very often. I think most of the time when I play duo gigs, we're not really spending most of our time playing 300 beats a minute. So what I do with that, with those kind of songs, is just to check them out and see if I can find a nice solution, and then always keep that in mind and see if you can put it to use in other places too. I think you probably need to sit down, if you're not used to working with this, you need to sit down and just write some bass lines and just practice playing them, and then you can start changing bits and pieces here and there, because basically it's like fitting patterns together, and the better you get at it, the more freedom you get to get bass lines that really make sense as a whole. Right now, like especially the first example, what I did now was just pretty systematical about using the 5th as a leading note to the next chord, and that's okay. But I think if you have to play that for 5 minutes, you probably get tired of it, and then you want to try something else, and there you start to try and come up with other stuff. Of course, you can take this to a whole other level if you start really just focusing on the bass lines and composing them in the same way that bass players do, that you're more free to not use the root on the one and stuff like that. But for this, I'm still keeping it really simple, because it's easier to play, and it probably makes more sense to do that now. We can get into more complicated bass lines in another lesson. So in any case, thank you for watching. I hope that you can use the two exercises that I presented here, and you can use that information to make your own bass lines. If you have any comments, then feel free to leave them on the video, or connect with me on Google Plus or Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and you can let me know there. If you like the lesson, then feel free to subscribe to my channel, and you can also go to my website and subscribe to my newsletter. Then you'll be up to date when I make new lessons, or if there are new CDs coming out. I think there'll be a CD coming out that I recorded in Spain last year, in the next month, for instance. Yeah, so also if you have any suggestions for topics for these lessons, then feel free to let me know. I'll see what I can do. And yeah, thank you for watching.